This is Radio 4.
Hello.
Hello, this is Congregation of Dharma Mission in Seoul, Korea. You know we predict doomsday come on Wednesday. Well, obviously it not happen, and we realize we frighten millions of people. So we just like to say sorry.
Oh, don't worry about it, mate. Not the end of the world, is it?
Weekending October the 30th. A look back at the week's news with David Tate, Sally Grace, Alistair McGowan and Simon Godley.
Oh, Norman, I'm very worried about next Wednesday's vote on Maastricht.
Cheer up, PM. I think we might just be able to cobble together enough votes to squeeze through.
But how will we do that?
Oh, a bit of manipulation and arm twisting should do the trick. Maybe even a U-turn or two.
I see.
All you have to do is get through this fortnight and you'll be able to silence your critics.
But, Norman, you said 2 weeks ago that if we could survive the next fortnight over the pick closures, we'd be in the clear. Now, here we are 2 weeks later and we're still in a mess.
No, it's all right. You see, so long as you've got a short-term strategy to survive from fortnight to fortnight, you'll be fine.
But how can I govern effectively without a long-term strategy?
Your long-term strategy is to survive. And to survive, you need a short-term survival strategy.
Of course, that's brilliant. All we have to do is muddle through.
And just think, if you can survive each new crisis you stumble into, you'll only have to hang on for 117 fortnights until you call the next election.
Oh.
Republican Party attempts to break Clinton's lead in American election polls.
Geez, you guys. Clinton's still way ahead in the polls. What are we gonna do?
How about if we wait for him to go on TV, and one of our guys mingles with his supporters and holds up a placard behind him saying, "Child molesting Iraqi gay Satanists for Clinton."
Not bad.
Yeah.
What do you think, President Saddam?
Well, for a couple of missiles and a rocket launcher, I wouldn't mind saying Bill and I were at Oxford together, and we joined the University Transvestites Club. And Bill used to get a big thrill out of prancing around in public wearing Hillary's bra outside his shirt.
I like it.
Hey, Clinton's visiting Dallas this week. I was thinking if we could get a CIA marksman up on the 6th floor of the school book depository building, and maybe a few others on the grassy knoll.
No, we did that one years ago.
All right. Hey, Mr. President, how about if we fed a long, thin tube up Bill Clinton's trouser leg so it appears out of his collar and pokes up his nostril, we then blow marijuana smoke up it, and then he'd have to inhale.
Nice one.
Or I could say I knew Clinton in Moscow and we got married in the Kremlin in a grotesque ceremony conducted by Leonid Brezhnev dressed as a chicken.
Mr. President, I've got it. Why don't you go on TV and explain why your policies are better than his?
What kind of a dirty trick is that? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Come on now, guys.
Windsor Safari Park is to close.
Hello, this is Jenny Smith reporting from Windsor Safari Park, where the news of the closure has just been announced. With me, I have Bernard. Bernard, you are...
Head bison, Jenny,
Right.
yes. We're all completely stunned here. I, for example, have been a bison for 15 years, as was my father before me. So I really don't know what I'll do after the loss of this job.
And I believe that you've actually increased productivity dramatically over the last year.
Yeah, many of us bison produced 3 or 4 young. But sadly the lions improved as well, so there was an overall loss. The baboons, though, did show a good profit from the sale of second-hand windscreen wipers.
Has there been any talk of protest action?
The cheetahs and the ocelots have been considering wildcat strikes, but really only public support can help us.
Yes, I see. And do you expect to get any help from the government?
We're primitive, grass-eating, cow-like creatures, Jenny. But even we're not stupid enough to expect that. Danes lay down terms for ratification of Maastricht Treaty.
It's a reply to our ultimatum, Prime Minister. Europe has given in to our demands.
Good. So Denmark gets to always win the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yes, and all European building contracts will be subcontracted to Lego.
What about the cheese proviso?
All agreed to. Danish blue will be designated as an official European currency with full parity with the AQ. So, looks like we'll be joining Europe after all.
Excuse me. Hold it on the European deal, Miss Lindstrom. We've had a better offer from America. They want to detach us at the thin bit, tow us across, and anchor us off Atlantic City.
As the 51st state?
No, as a golf course.
Benetton announced controversial new advertising campaign.
So basically, Michael, the new Benetton campaign, we've got this picture of very young Colombian children being forced into manual labour for our next poster. Obviously, we're continuing with the shock images.
Excellent, right.
Yeah, we think it's the perfect follow-up to the man in the bed dying of AIDS, and a newborn baby.
Yes.
So, yeah, anyway, that's the Benetton posters. Then we're also sponsoring Nick Faldo.
Oh, great. So he'll be wearing one of our Benetton jumpers, will he?
Oh, no. No. In the PGA, Nick will be wearing a blood-spattered Afghani rebel's winter jacket and hat.
Right.
Yeah, instead of our products. It's shock images again, you see.
Yes.
And in the British Open at St Andrews, instead of trousers, he'll be wearing a barkskin lungi. That should shock them.
Yes. Does Faldo mind?
Well, I think the situation's still fluid.
We haven't told him yet, actually.
I see.
Moving on, the Benetton Grand Prix cars will be painted in woad and cow dung by North American Indians.
Right.
And instead of wearing the traditional fireproof suit, the Formula One drivers will be clad in a Tibetan prayer shawl.
I see.
And the radio ads are great. It's just somebody being sick.
You're sure this idea of shock posters and shock everything is sound? I mean, we're not just exploiting the misfortunes of others, are we?
No, of course we're not.
And we've moved the main office from Paris.
Oh, yes?
Yeah, we've relocated. Perfect mix of colours.
Yes?
Yeah, we've moved to a rubbish dump in Cairo. That should get us in the news.
Labour in U-turn over Commons Maastricht vote.
So, John, tell me again why the Labour Party isn't going to back the government in the Maastricht vote next week.
Well, it's to do with the timing of the vote. Ask me the secret of politics, Margaret.
What's the secret of politics?
Timing. You see, Margaret, some politicians have it, and others just don't. You see, yes.
4-year-old has hit record in French charts.
OK, right, yeah, welcome back to The Word. I'm joined in the studio right now by Claude and Patricia Lemoyne, or something like that anyway, who are like the parents of Geordie, the French baby who's currently #1 in the French pop charts. So, like, Patricia, how's Geordie coping with his newfound stardom and all that?
Well, he started wearing dark glasses and leather nappies, and he's bought himself a gold-plated dummy. He has also completed a short tour of local nurseries and playgroups.
Right, so does he attract loads of play groupies?
I'm sorry?
Sorry, that's just my little joke there. What about the success? Has it gone to, like, his head?
Not at all. He's a complete natural. Already he's smashed up his Wendy house, rode his bike into the paddling pool, and thrown his Fisher-Price television out of the window.
So does Geordie's fame, though, have any major drawbacks?
Well, it is certainly not easy to sign autographs in crayon.
Nice one, yeah. So what do you think the future holds for young Geordie, then?
Well, seeing as he is very short and almost totally bald, we thought a duet with Phil Collins would be ideal.
Sorted. So how about getting him to present The Word sometime?
Oh, I'm sorry, but even Geordie isn't that childish.
Yeah, nice one, sorted.
Hello? You have reached London 999, the ambulance branch of the emergency services. We're sorry there's no one here to take your call at the moment, as we're all out on a 3-week computer training course. If you're not feeling too well, we find that a good hot cup of tea usually goes down a treat. That should help you snap out of it. If you think you are suffering from something serious, my mother says a hot poultice is very soothing. This machine does not accept messages, but if you're feeling up to it in a couple of days' time, why not pop round for a chat?
Reports that Dustin Hoffman is planning a follow-up to The Graduate are confirmed when he begins work on The Unemployed.
Police investigating the theft of a number of ivory piano keys believe the culprits may have stopped off somewhere for a tinkle.
Claims by the British Hedgehog Preservation Society that many hedgehogs are dying from stress are dismissed by an animal psychologist who says it's just that from time to time they get a little run down.
Come in.
Oh, Dr. Freud, I'm sorry to bother you, but my name's Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, the hedgehog. I keep having panic attacks, hyperventilating, and I'm afraid to go out.
Now, relax. Just climb up on the couch.
You are then.
Yes.
Well, that'll be £700 for the new leather upholstery for a start. But just relax now and tell me about any chronic anxieties you may have. For example, how is your sex life with Mr. Tiggywinkle?
Well, it's a total non-event. When we were first married, he was such an enthusiastic and imaginative lover. We would do it in hedges, ditches, river banks. Now he just lies under a compost heap and says he's got a headache.
I see. Let me try a little word association test with you. Aggressive.
Prickly.
Grab.
Ouch.
Motorway.
Flat.
I think your neurosis is very simple. You just need a dose of real life. Cooped up in your hedgehog warren all the time is bound to send you round the bend. Come along with me now, and we'll cross this busy main road.
Oh, no, it's a lorry.
Oh, my dear Mrs. Tiggywinkle, your fears are quite irrational. It's
Oh, I could have told him that would happen. He should have hunched up into a ball with his prickles standing out to scare the lorry away.
Ross Perot accuses Republican Party of dirty tricks campaign.
Do you still think you can win, Mr. Perot?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have called this conference to explain why I retired from the presidential campaign in the summer. At that time, I received concrete evidence that President Bush was planning to abduct members of my family, secrete them on a Russian space probe, and send them to Alpha Centauri with members of the pop group Guns N' Roses.
Mr. Perot, do you have any evidence of the president's plan?
Look, ma'am, I'm getting sick and tired of people like you doubting my word. The president's plan was hatched in secret sessions of the cabinet held in Papua New Guinea. It was written on ancient papyrus and buried in a jeweled pharaoh's casket in hallowed ground 42.6 degrees south of the equator.
Can we see the papyrus, Mr. Perot?
I've had about enough of this press suspicion. The papyrus is safely stored in an air vent of a transatlantic 747, which I'm arranging to be diverted to the land of Xanadu.
But, Mr. Perot, surely Xanadu doesn't exist.
Son, you're trying the edge of my patience. Xanadu is a kingdom in the clouds above Texas. Some of its three-headed winged citizens are close personal friends of mine.
Survey reveals couples enjoy making love to classical music.
Oh, I'm sorry. This never happened before.
It's okay. It's not your fault.
Oh, I feel such a failure.
And so we commit the body of this our sister Doris Brown to the earth. Dust to dust, ashes to ashes.
Ambulance for a Mrs. Doris Brown.
Sorry. Survey shows one crime committed every 6 seconds.
How was work, love?
Oh, blimey, I don't think I'm cut out for it anymore.
Oh, did you have a hard morning then?
Go, listen to this. I'd done 18 muggings, 44 burglaries, shoplifted 92 different items, all nicely at the time. Around 11, I stopped for a breather, and then I realised I hadn't robbed anything or hurt anyone for getting on 15 seconds. My average has plummeted to a disastrous 8.2 seconds.
Oh, did you do the bank job?
God, yeah, when I could fit it in. I ended up doing it in my lunch hour. And I'm not doing it again, neither. Took me at least 2 minutes. I was having to mug an old lady on the way out to even stand a chance of keeping up to scratch.
Well, you put your gun down now and relax. I'm not having you working after hours.
Oh, sorry, love. I'm all 6s and 7s. By the end of the afternoon, I was pilfering cigarettes with my right hand and forging credit card signatures with my left. Oh, it's not like in my dad's time. You could do a post office caper in the morning, take a long lunch, roll in at 4 o'clock and burgle a block of flats.
Yeah, well, of course, people used to leave their doors unlocked in them days.
Oh, yeah, they trusted you then. These days, the competition's so steep. I mean, some of the bank raid lads have got the whole thing down to 5 seconds. And they usually get a few petty thefts in on the getaway. How am I supposed to compete with that?
Oh, no, love. Well, it's just as well the police are getting slower.
Hello, I'm Selina Scott. Welcome to the Clothes Show with our special report on winter fashions. Miners are out, jobs are receding, and lines from the dole offices are long and flowing. The emphasis is on recession, but I'm wearing a smug grin because I'm in, and my paycheck is large, bold, extravagant, and totally undeserved.
Chemists announce measures to combat customer embarrassment when buying condoms.
Can I help you, sir?
Yes, I'd like some... please?
Sorry, sir, I didn't quite catch that.
I'd like one of those... please?
You'll have to speak up a bit. I really can't hear you properly.
I said I'd like one of those... new free booklets about how to avoid embarrassment when buying condoms.
Of course, sir.
Here, Sharon! Fetch us a pile of them condom booklets, will ya? There's a bloke out here thinks he's lapsing tonight.
Hello. You've reached the Emergency Services Police Branch. We're very sorry, but Detective Inspector Doyle, Sergeant Holmes and Police Constable Johnson aren't in right now as we're all rather busy. If there's someone committing a serious crime in your area, remember that they may come from a deprived background, and it might just be a cry for help. Please feel free to leave a message after the siren, and we'll call you back after the weekend. And if that's Mrs. Doyle, the inspector says he's sorry he can't come to the cinema tonight because he's cleaning his helmet.
Following the arrest of 6 children for begging for firework money, sparks fly in the court, the evidence goes round and round, the judge gives the police a rocket, and the case fizzles out.
After Norman Lamont says that what he'd like for Christmas is a rubber duck, Antonia de Sancha offers him one, adding that she's never heard him speak in Cockney rhyming slang before.
After the world fails to end in accordance with the prediction of Korean Moonies, a spokesman for Benetton expresses disappointment, as the event would have looked great on their next poster.
I'm here in this remote Lancashire farmhouse to talk to Mrs. Vera Higginbottom about her beautiful but controversial knitwear. Right, Mrs. Higginbottom, tell us about this pullover.
Aye, well, the pattern on this one's my own design, and as you can see, it resembles a human placenta, covered in blood and encircling the abdomen.
I took it for a standard fair isle myself. It's sleeveless, I see.
Oh, yes. There are 3 openings in the garment, making it equally suitable for a one-headed man with 2 arms, or a 2-headed man with 1 arm, or any permutation. Mutation. You get it? Yeah, well, my pullovers are especially designed for people involved in scientific experiments that have gone wrong.
Mrs. Higginbottom...
I also knit miniature sizes to fit children maimed in industrial accidents,
Mrs. Higginbottom.
incorporating a built-in neck brace, hence my trademark, United Collars of Higginbottom.
Mrs. Higginbottom, you're just trying to shock me, aren't you?
Me, love?
You think that images of gratuitous cruelty and harshness will somehow contrast with the essential banality of your product and invest it with a spurious excitement and glamour.
Oh, no, love. You've been reading too many books on semiotics. Here you look fair perished. Put this cardi on. That's it, love. Button it up the back. Oh, it's grand, love. It suits you. Only £750.
A day in the life of Sinead O'Connor.
I'll have 2 pounds of potatoes. Now!
There you go, love. Anything else?
Bloody typical. People are always criticising me. Why can't you mind your own business? It's people like you that cause all the unhappiness in the world.
Oh, I only meant, did he want any more vegetables?
Right, that's it.
What are you doing?
I'm ripping up a picture of a greengrocer and I'm quitting shopping forever. I want some cigarettes.
Certainly. Which sort?
God, I don't believe this. Just f***ing leave me alone, will you? You narrow-minded fascist Nazi. You oppressor.
What are you doing?
I'm ripping up a picture of a newsagent, all right?
But that's a baker.
Right, that's it. I'm quitting shopping now, I really am. You're all the same, you bastards. You're all using me. You all deserve to die.
All right, love, all right. Anything else?
No, that's all.
OK, see you tomorrow then.
Bye. Doubts surround Bill Clinton's campaign integrity.
Okay, boys, what's on the agenda today?
Well, Bill, you got a speech in Arkansas. Have you figured out what you're going to say?
Sure. See what you think. Dag nabbit, folks, I tell you that Georgie Bush ain't nothing but a tired old hound dog. Why, he stands as much chance of prevailing as a 3-legged muskrat in a mess of hog spit.
Okay, but remember, there's probably going to be some blacks there as well.
No problem. I have a dream. Hallelujah.
Yeah, and some drug addicts.
What America needs is a quick fix, man.
Not forgetting the women.
Why doesn't the state of this country just make you want to cry? I'm just feeling so emotional today.
Right, fellas? Anything else?
Yeah, Bill, I'm not sure this play of cynically changing your voice to gain electoral advantage is working any longer.
Yeah, he's right, Chief. George Bush has stayed exactly the same throughout the campaign. And now look, he's almost neck and neck.
He's what? Damn. Jeez, in that case, I guess I'm gonna have to change my approach and stick to just the one voice.
Smart move, Bill.
Attaboy, Chief.
Okay, how about this? My fellow Americans, hi there. This is your old pal, George.
Windsor Safari Park to close.
Hello, is this the job centre?
Yes, it is. Come in and take a seat, Mr.
Chimp. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Chimp. What are you doing?
Oh, sorry. Force of habit.
Oh.
And I have been a bit lonely recently.
Yeah. Right, anyway, I've got your file here now.
Ah.
Your first name's Charlie The. Is that right?
Right, that's me.
Yeah, right, let's see. Previous employment, Windsor Safari Park skills, bending car aerials, pulling off windscreen wipers. Well, I must be honest with you, Mr. Chimp, it's not going to be easy to find you a new job. There's really not much call for your sort of talents just at the moment.
No, that's not all I can do. I mean, I did a lot of swinging about on tyres, making chattering noises a few years ago. I could always go back to zoo work.
Well, not really, I'm afraid, Mr. Chimp. There's not much of that about either, and I see you don't like tea.
Oh, can't stand the stuff.
Shame.
Yeah.
Let's see. No, the companion for Michael Jackson job's gone too. Look, I think I'd better refer you to our long-term unemployment counsellor, really.
Yeah, it's marvellous, isn't it? You give the best years of your life to a place and they just throw you out on your ear. This government's just tearing the heart out of the chimp community.
Oh, there is something here. Are you interested in science at all?
Very much so.
Right, well, there is a vacancy in the laboratory just up the road.
Oh, great. What is it? The typing Shakespeare job some of the guys have talked about?
Not really, no. I think you should go for it, though. Ideally, they'd like previous experience, but if you just stain your fingers with nicotine and cough a lot, I think that should do the trick.
There is another sex scandal in the U.S. presidential elections when Ross Perot claims he withdrew prematurely after being smeared by Republican workers.
After a survey disclosed that London is the most expensive city in the EC for commuters, British Rail explained that their higher prices are due to London being in the wrong type of place.
The 12-year-old girl who ran up a £4,000 phone bill trying to ring Michael Jackson discovers that the high-pitched tone she kept getting was Michael Jackson. Concern resurfaces at the BBC over the problem of bureaucracy and overstaffing.
Well, I tell you, I really don't know what all the trouble's about.
Yeah, well, I've certainly never noticed it.
Yeah, I think they're probably just talking about television, really.
Overstaffing around here. Yeah. They must be joking.
Gotta be,
Say that again.
Weekending featured David Tate, Sally Grace, Alistair McGowan and Simon Godley. The scripts for Miss Grace and Mr. Tate were held by Nick R. Thomas, Al Murray, Ben Moore and Bridget Leithley. And the pages were turned by Rant, Paul Powell, Alan Stafford and Ben Francis, under the careful supervision of Peter Bradshaw, Georgia Pritchett and Andrew Clifford. Microphones were warmed by Rob Millington, Clive Coleman and Jim Walton. The fluff from Mr. McGowan's jacket was collected and catalogued by Ivan Shakespeare, Dave Single, Richard Crowest and Jerry Godin. And the ice in Mr. Godley's cocktail cabinet was monogrammed by Tim de Jong, Russell Waiton, Bob and Barbara Boulton, Barry Atkins, Crispin Belcher, D.A. Barham, Roger Vokes and Nick Riddle. The programme's production team of 300 was led by Jon Naismith.
Now, apparently it's quite normal to worry about whether you're normal, and what's normal when it comes to sex is the subject of this week's short story, or rather short history, of the cold shower. Archivist and historian John Post looks back at more than a century of improving advice and discovers such things as the proper use of pink ribbons, new uses for cooked spaghetti, and when to see a psychiatrist. Are you normal? We'll find out in a short history of the cold shower at 11:15 tomorrow night.